Sono Mattia Mor, questo è 10 Minutes to Inspire. Hi Jan, thanks for being with us today, and really an honor for us to have you here in Milan recording this podcast. So, I'm Kaplan. Who are you today?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I have really built my business in over 25 years in fintech, and I'm a doctorate in finance, MBA, MSc, and a few other degrees under my belt. I'm a mother of 6.
Okay, 6. Good number. Big number.
It's a big number. So it's 25 years in finance.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And can you please share with us which is the venture or the experience that defines you the most?
I believe that focusing on the finance industry, talking about business, would be focusing on the finance industry and learning how to innovate and change through the period of time that I was in it. And it's only been maybe 6 months that I've been out of fintech. And I believe that what's defined me in business is knowing how finance was before we had technology to develop it, and then implementing that simultaneously while running a national company. So I believe that's what defines me.
Okay, and in a personal level?
Personal level, I would say I was really a product of an affair, which I never knew of. And when I found that out, I had to deal with that and realize that we are who we present ourselves as, not what our history is and not how we came into this world. And I believe that's how I live my life at all times, without judgment of others and with understanding that sometimes things aren't our fault. Where we came from is not our fault. And then what we do with what's given us is what defines us.
That's correct. I completely agree with you. And on Tech.Emotion, we strongly believe in the power of stories to inspire people, to educate and to entertain at the same time. So we say great stories to do that. What or who inspired you the most?
Maybe it sounds cliche. I would say my mother inspired me a lot. I would say to her, "Mom, I just won this award." And she would say, "Are you looking after the children?" And she'd always correct me to where to go back to what is important. And she wasn't an inspiration in business. She always just said to me, "You can be anything you want to be." She never said, "No, don't do that." And if I did something she didn't like, she would say, "Don't do it again." And so I think that I live my life as in her steps, carrying on her good work. And I would say she was the biggest inspiration.
That's correct. That's good. And, we talk a lot about innovation. Innovation is a very important tool for us. And what is the image that you have most in your mind if you're talking about innovation?
An image of a person that I would have most, I would say there's 2 people. Elon Musk, because he's in the same field that I am in, he developed PayPal. And in my field, I developed a point-of-sale system, writing an algorithm that determines whether a consumer will default or not. And I looked at other innovators in our industry, and there's been many, but at the time I looked at Elon Musk and how he developed a technology. It's not just developing the technology, it's learning how to take something to market and to brand yourself and how to get out. And so I looked at him as an innovator, but an innovator in business. You can develop something, but you may not know how to sell it to the public. You may not know how to distribute it. And you may not know how to get out of that business and move on to the next thing. Another innovative person is Richard Branson. And I look at him as a brilliant marketer. Yeah. He is someone who breaks ground when it comes to marketing. He's someone who will hang himself out of an air balloon to get attention. And we need to hang ourselves out of hot air balloons in this very, very busy, noisy world of marketing and advertising to get attention. And so he has good business ideas, but he knows how to get them to market and how to get attention. So I look at those 2 as very much not necessarily what they've developed, but how they get it to market and how they get it into a business model and how they exit.
And I have to say, and you chose 2 very successful ones, and also doing, trial and errors, but they did very, very well what they did, and it's good. I mean, I completely get what Richard Branson is one of my idols for that, so I got the point.
We all do trial and errors.
Yeah,
we just don't hear about the people that do errors.
Of course.
We hear about the ones that are successful, and when they're successful and they, so to speak, flub or have an error, well, we forgive them.
Right. And, we strongly believe that this complex time that we are living, can be driven by multiple intelligence connected together. So we know we have a big development of artificial intelligence, but we also have to use emotional intelligence, human intelligence, creative intelligence to be combined with that. So that's our opinion. I would love to know, what do you think about it?
Well, on a level, I did my doctorate, my PhD studies in spirituality, and I did my doctorate in finance. So there's sort of a link of those two, and then studied AI as well. So for me, I believe people throw around the word AI as if they know what they're talking about. There's businesses that say, oh, we have AI implemented. They might have AI implemented in their business models, but they haven't necessarily developed AI component. AI and machine learning is taken from human decisions, that is the data input, to create the machine learning, to create the AI models. Those are initially programmed by human beings. So that initial programming is as important as the human input to that. So we need to understand how important it is to have the correct data that gives the outcome that you might want. So for an example, if you're looking for an outcome to do with an employee profile, make sure that the data that you're taking is actually clean data from the employees that you want the outcome from. Yeah. So a lot of that has come up in studies with Facebook, for instance, that actually was probably a bit prejudiced by hiring people that had, so to speak, white names. And so the data that went into a more of a machine learning or an output would be only white people were hired. And so some of these things we don't realize until they come out, and that's more obvious data. But the other data for AI is important, that as human beings, we're understanding the outcome that we want and being very careful with the outcome that we want, that we can't be replaced, but we can control artificial intelligence.
If we would love to have one question about, one more question about yourself, what would you ask it to yourself?
Oh, if I'm asking myself, what could I do better in the future? And that's taking what I believe, when you get to a point in your career where you have spent your life studying and focusing and building business and raising a family, what can you do next to make this world a better place? And that's embracing what we can offer. And for me, it is embracing technology and AI, but also embracing business and marketing and the things that I've learned. And how can I take this intelligence that I've learned and contribute back to a better world? Because you get to a point where you don't have to do something, but you can also choose to do nothing. But when you're given a gift of experience and intelligence, it's to learn to give back.
Yeah. And the last question is, here in Europe, we have definitely a different mindset regarding failure than you have in the US. And sometimes, in Europe, people is scared by failure, while, you there have a better approach to that. And if you don't fail, you don't succeed, and so what you can teach to us as a successful entrepreneur, coming from a geography where failure is really well respected, to us that where, there is more fear on that.
Well, I think that innately all of us feel very bad when we fail at something. And if I could say this to my own children, it's don't raise the bar too high for yourself. Keep going and don't be afraid of failure. There isn't really a way to fail, and not to give up trying. But if you don't reach the goal that you're looking for, take baby steps. Yeah. Take one step at a time. You have a long goal, but take baby steps to get there. Because sometimes that first step to the very end step is a far, far away. When you take baby steps, and one of the steps, it doesn't work out, you just turn another way. And you're not jumping back to the very beginning. You're only staying on that one step. So failure to me is not trying. And sometimes it's hard for some people to get up in the morning and give it a good effort. But if you take those little steps, it's not as hard.
It's a good way of seeing the way to do development through the small steps. I really thank you. I mean, it's been so inspiring for us with your experience and your thoughts. This is 10 Minutes to Inspire. This is a podcast by Tech.Emotion. And thank you, Anne Kaplan, to be with us.
Thank you.